Hey everyone, welcome back. Come on in to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage here on this Monday, November 25th, 2024. We have a lot to get to in this video. We're talking about cold air, so get those scarves, winter coats, and gloves ready because we have the coldest air of the winter season so far coming up this coming weekend. And we are also going to be talking about the potential for a winter storm, a very complex situation that is developing with that. So we're going to get into that later on. So make sure to subscribe to the channel down below for the latest information. Turn on the post notification bell so you're notified for any future videos that I do post. Of course, like the video. It's very, very important. Give that video a thumbs up here if you do enjoy it. And leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. We'll get to those after the video. Here is the snow depth, and I know it's in centimeters, but you guys get an idea that we have a lot of snow in Alaska and Western Canada, and this is actually going to be the driver of the cold air as we go southbound into the United States through the next couple of weeks. And let's show you that here today. We have some very cold air across the central U.S., and that is really kind of the precursor to what we're going to be seeing over the next week to 2 weeks in time. And you can see today, here are your afternoon highs. We're going to be starting to see afternoon highs into the teens and 20s further off to the north as some of that colder air over that snowpack starts to move southbound into the northern tier of the United States. And we're still seeing some chilly air. You know, we're not even breaking 50 degrees in Oklahoma City at 48, 49 this afternoon in Tulsa, and even over here into St. Louis, a warmer day, but 60 as we go into this afternoon. Now, say goodbye to the 60-degree weather in St. Louis because all this cold air is going to continue to move southbound to the United States. And it will take some time, but look at here at the freezing line tonight. You can see Indianapolis, 32, 30 in St. Louis, 29, a hard freeze there in Tulsa, and 33 just outside the freezing point there in Amarillo in the Texas Panhandle. So, and then further to the north, yeah, you see those single digits on either side of zero, especially up there in northern North Dakota, northern and northeastern Montana. That's where we could have below zero low temperatures overnight tonight. Now, let's look here at the weather alerts across the country because we have a couple of weather systems that we're keeping an eye on. We have winter weather advisories across the Arrowhead of Minnesota, the Northwoods of Wisconsin, and much of the upper peninsula of Michigan. Winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings, kind of a mishmash of those across the Rockies and the Sierras as well out across the west. So what we're seeing is two different storm systems. We got a weaker system, but it is enhanced by some lake effect snow from Lake Superior across the upper peninsula of Michigan. So the central UP of Michigan, like Marquette, could actually see some heavier snows with that lake effect enhancement as we go through this afternoon. Drizzle, isolated, scattered showers further south and across lower Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and southern Illinois. And then that other system out west. Higher elevation, you're going to see colder air, so that moisture will come down with snow. And then the lower elevation, warmer air, so obviously that will be liquid precipitation in the form of rain. That'll continue into tonight. We're actually going to get hammered with snow across the Sierras as we go into tonight. So make sure you're ready for that. And looking at the snowfall amounts here, at the big picture here, it looks pretty isolated, and it kind of is. You can see out west, it's really the Cascades. The Sierras could actually be getting anywhere between 50 and 70 inches worth of snow just between now and Tuesday morning, and a few inches of snow across the Rockies there outside Salt Lake City and west of Denver as we go through Tuesday. Over here, the second system across the Lake Superior vicinity in the UP of Michigan could be giving us anywhere from 3 to as much as 6, maybe 7 inches worth of snow, and some of those higher snowfall rates across portions of the central and eastern UP of Michigan. That's enhanced by Lake Superior. The warmer lakes actually set up a situation for some lake effect snow enhancement. Otherwise, the Arrowhead of Minnesota, the northern part of Wisconsin up here, it's far northern Wisconsin, could have some grassy surface accumulations of 1, perhaps up to 3 inches in those areas. Now take it slow. If you are traveling across parts of the United States, this could lead to major extreme travel impacts across the central and the southern Sierras, more of those moderate to major travel impacts outside the Salt Lake City area, outside Denver, and then more limited travel impacts here, minor issues across portions of the Arrowhead of Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, and more so into the UP of Michigan as the snowfall amounts may start to increase with that lake effect enhancement as we go in through Tuesday. Let's look here at some teleconnections here and understand why we're seeing colder air coming in as we go into late November and early December. First, I want to introduce you to the AO. This is the Arctic Oscillation. Notice it's positive, a positive 2 or so right now. This is going to dip negative here later on this week and remain negative for an extended period of time. And looking at the NAO, the North Atlantic Oscillation, also is positive at 0.5. That's also going to dip negative and stay negative for quite some time as well. And finally, looking at your PNA, the Pacific North American Oscillation is negative right now. It will trend neutral to 0 and then trend positive after that, especially into early December. And that is important because when you have a positive PNA, that forces colder air across the central and then into the eastern U.S. So that is something to watch for, especially though as we get into early December. So let's look here at the temperature anomalies overall laid out this week. You can see the snowpack, the enhancement to that cold air is there. So if you are in British Columbia, if you're in Alberta, Saskatchewan, the Northwest Territories, Yukon, up here to Alaska, you're going to see the cold air enhanced by that deep snowpack of 1 to 2 feet in your area. And then over the time, that snowpack is going to lead to colder air further south into the United States, more so into the central and eventually into the eastern U.S., especially later this week. So we already touched on the cold air today. You can see that's funneling all the way down to the Red River Valley and parts of the Midwest, whereas ahead of that front, we're still seeing the warmer and more unseasonably warm air out there in the Ohio Valley and the Southeast. That will start to lead to more cooler air by Wednesday. It's still kind of trying to move into the United States, but by Friday, the floodgates are open. This is on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and this goes all the way down to northern Mexico, coastal Texas, all along the Gulf Coast over here in North Florida and off the east coast of the Carolinas. So we're definitely seeing the floodgates open for the colder air after Thanksgiving. And just to show you that in reality here, low temperatures Friday morning. If you're going Black Friday shopping early Friday morning, make sure to pack a winter coat with you because it's going to be chilly and downright frigid across a large chunk of the United States. The freezing line going all the way south. It's 38 degrees in Atlanta, Georgia on Friday morning. We're at 36 in Jackson, Mississippi, and 35 in the Dallas-Fort Worth area Friday morning. Look to the north, minus 13 up here in northern North Dakota, and that isn't even factoring in the wind chill, which could be a few degrees colder than that. And we're only going to recover to 4 degrees above zero in some of these areas in North Dakota Friday afternoon, and only the teens and 20s all across the upper Midwest and the northern Ohio Valley and near the Great Lakes region, 40s and 50s further to the south. I mean, Atlanta, 49 degrees for a high Friday afternoon, and we're only up to 63 in Panama City as well. So it's going to be very chilly Friday afternoon, so make sure to bundle up if you're going shopping for Black Friday. Looking here at the jet stream as well, we want to watch for any travel impacts because when you have colder air, you would think, well, if you have moisture, you could get some snow. So looking here on Wednesday, we're going to see that jet stream really start to get active across the southern and southeastern part of the United States. As we go into Thursday, this is Thanksgiving Day as you know it, we see the polar jet starting to come down and collide with our Pacific jet stream, and this is actually going to phase together, at least loosely, as we go into later this week on Friday, and that is something to keep an eye on because our precipitation anomalies will be reflective of our active jet stream. Very active rainfall and snowfall out west here, especially for the central southern Sierras, perhaps even southern California getting more moisture here than normal. That'll extend over into Nevada, Utah, and Colorado, starting to break up the moisture a little bit across the Mississippi Valley. Some of that has to do with the drought ongoing across the middle of the country and then starting to pick back up across the Northeast as those jet streams kind of collide and phase together. But how much do they phase together is remain to be seen. So looking here at today, we noticed that weak system up here across the Great Lakes bringing rain and or snow, and we also see that stronger system moving in for the Sierras. That will move out into the Rockies as we go in toward your Tuesday. We have snow across Ontario and Quebec on Tuesday, so watching out for that. Mainly rain for the Northeast and New England all the way down the eastern seaboard as we go into Tuesday. Going into Wednesday, kind of a mishmash of rain and or snow. The lee side of the Rockies could have some snow here with some of that lift off the Rockies. So for Denver, could be seeing a little bit of some wet snow by Wednesday. And then how does those jet streams phase together? The polar jet and the Pacific jet stream on Thanksgiving Day will determine the intensity and track of this system as we go into Thanksgiving. If this comes to fruition, we could have some hefty snowfall falling across interior New England and the interior Northeast, and maybe even southeastern Canada, with more rain for the I-95 corridor and near the coast. So that is something to keep an eye on. And then as we go into Friday, probably more of a lake effect snow machine on the backside as that northwest flow continues with the cold air. So looking at precipitation, pretty hefty amounts out west, kind of breaking up in the middle of the country and then picking back up again later on this week across the Northeast and New England and up here into the mid-Atlantic as well. Let's look here at 3 different weather models, because there's really not a lot of agreement still as we are getting closer to the system. We're here on Monday, November 25th, and this is, pegged for Thursday, Friday, November 28th, 29th, and we still don't have a lot of clarity on the track intensity of the system. It's very complex because of the phasing of those jet streams. Do they phase? Do they not phase? That will dictate. This model is more phased, so that means colder air will be able to funnel in with that moisture and bring heftier snow amounts for interior New England and the Northeast and even southeastern Canada. Whereas the GFS is a little bit flatter with this system, doesn't phase it as much, maybe loosely so, and we have a few inches, and then you can see that with the GEM, the Canadian guidance, the Canadian model as well. So still not a lot of agreement here, but we are going to see something for a storm system across the Northeast, whether it's a lot of snow, a lot of rain, or both. We're going to keep an eye on it as we go through the rest of this week for you bet, for you on this channel. So let's go into early December now, December 1st through December 8th. And whatever happens with that storm is history, and we're going to be seeing colder air funneling in on the backside as that northwest flow from Canada, that cross-polar flow, is alive and prevalent into the United States, and that's going to dump even more cold air into the central and eastern U.S. We see that positive PNA over here. That's reflective of the warmer than normal temperatures spiking all the way up into the Aleutian Islands and Alaska, all the way into western Canada, the western part of the United States, dumping that cold air into the east like we mentioned. Well, with that type of track, that could lead to more clipper type systems. You guys always hear of the Alberta clippers and stuff like that. We could actually see some of that as we go into late November, but more so into early December here, as we see that northwest flow really strong, and that could lead to more lake effect snowfall as well, pretty hefty amounts near the lakes. Especially for Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, and Erie there, could definitely be seeing some heavier snow. So you can see that reflective on the ensemble guidance. Whenever you're looking at something over a week out, you kind of want to look at an ensemble model. Kind of puts all the models in one and gives you kind of the most likely scenario. And you can see there's that track of the clipper systems from Canada, Alberta, Saskatchewan clippers, all the way down into the Great Lakes. That could lead to more snow accumulation perhaps for the northern Ohio Valley, for the interior part of New England, probably more rain near the coast, and then hefty amounts of lake effect snow could be in the cards for Lake Superior once again. So watch out there in the UP and Michigan. The western side of lower Michigan could have some lake effect snow from Lake Michigan there, and then we have more of Lake Huron, Lake Erie, and all of that. So we're going to be keeping a very close eye on that into early December. So thank you all for watching. I know there's a lot to get to, but there's a lot in the weather forecast. We'll make sure you guys are covered here over the next several days, weeks, months, and years to come. Make sure to subscribe to the channel down below for the latest information. Turn on post notification bell so you are notified when I do post my videos. Of course, overwhelmingly, give me a like here on the video, especially if you do like the videos that I do post. And also leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. Of course, I'll get to those after the video, and I hope everyone has a marvelous rest of their Monday out there.